Hey everyone, Dr. Zero here again, and welcome back to another Power Rangers Dino Fury episode review. Today we're doing a little bit of a different format. I'm going to do a little short recap, and I'll highlight some things I liked within the episode. So let's get to it. Today we're taking a look at Power Rangers Dino Fury Episode 2, Sporix Unleashed. So, the primary plot of this episode is to get Pine Ridge prepared for the oncoming Sporix attack. Of course, the people of Pine Ridge don't believe the Rangers, or at least the park warden doesn't believe the Rangers, and not havoc ensues, but hijinks ensue. And there's also a B plot with Ollie going to his mom with Void Knight's scanner that he dropped in the first episode, and trying to see if she can link it up to her drone that we saw in the first episode to kind of help scan for Sporix and help kind of mitigate the chances of the Sporix getting hatched before they can actually find them. Overall, I liked the episode. I liked it a lot. And let's go over a few of the points about, why I liked the episode. First things first, the comedy was on point. I've said this before, last time I did a Beast Morphers, not Beast Morphers, I said this before in my Dino Fury episode 1 review, but I'm really enjoying the comedic moments in this season. Without having a a comedic character, so to speak, like a comedic duo, like a Bulk and Skull, or a Ben and Betty, or a Monty and Victor type of character in the season. It allows the various other characters, whether it's the Rangers themselves or any of the side characters, to take on the comedic elements. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that so much. And I'll tell you, probably my most loved, funniest moment in this episode was at the very beginning. So after the opening theme, we start with the Rangers right there in Dinohenge. And they're basically Zato is teaching them how to morph. Because this episode takes place almost immediately after the first episode, at the end of the first episode, he told the Rangers that he's going to help train them so they are prepared to fight the Sporix. So, the first thing first is teaching the Rangers how to morph. And I love this. That's something that we don't actually see in any other Power Rangers season. We've only seen it once, and that was in Power Rangers Ninja Storm. And that is exactly why I love this scene, because it reminded me, like the comedic timing of this scene reminded me what happened in Power Rangers Ninja Storm, where when it finally came down to it, the Rangers didn't know how to morph. They were messing up the whole Ninja Storm Ranger form thing. So Dustin's like, you know what? I got this. Ninja Storm Ranger form. Ha! And I'm like, okay, Dustin. Like, it was funny because you take that stuff for granted in a Power Rangers season. Everyone just knows how to morph from the jump. It's something that you just assume. You don't really think about it. So to have them mess it up it subverts your expectations, and it's absolutely hilarious. So for them to do that in this season, especially with Amelia, I guess, waving her arm too much and almost hitting Zato in the head, and then for Ollie to flip his key into Zato's hand on accident, that was funny. And Zato's deadpan delivery and deadpan demeanor helps elevate this comedy another level, because he's taking all this, I guess, it's not so much that he's taking this seriously, but he has a very stoic, very upfront reaction to everything that goes on in these first two episodes, and it works. It works very well for the comedic timings and for those more serious moments as well. After that, they also teleport into the command center for this season, and that's another thing we take for granted, is that the teleportation sequences, they don't really. First off, we haven't seen a teleportation since In Space. Well, I guess technically we have. We saw the Rangers teleport in the first episode of Power Rangers Megaforce, when Gosei and Tensu teleported the 5 Rangers to the command center, command cave, I don't know what it's officially called, but that was the only time we saw that happen. Otherwise, it's implied that they drive to the command center, because when Orion was introduced, Gia is telling Orion how they use landmarks to find the base, which, bruh, you have teleportation. Why would you not teleport your Rangers to the base? But I digress. We're past Megaforce. Megaforce can't hurt you anymore. But yeah, it's not something we've seen on a regular basis from a team. since Power Rangers in Space, and that was a long, long time ago. It's not that I don't like the more traditional means of getting around the city. It's fine when they have a rover, when they have a vehicle to go from point A to point B, but I do enjoy teleportation as well. And seeing Zato go over how to teleport with them was nice. And the comedic moment there came when Ollie and Amelia were transported into the base. They haven't exactly gotten comfortable with teleporting yet. Amelia, she tells him, her legs feel weird when they finally land. And then Ollie, throughout the episode, Ollie has, teleportation sickness, which, if I were getting teleported, I would probably be the same exact way. Myself, I don't do well on roller coasters. I hate roller coasters, so if I were getting teleported, I imagine I would have, a similar reaction to that. But yeah, that scene was really nice. And another comedic moment, immediately after that, this season has a lot of comedic moments, which I enjoy. Like, going back to Ninja Storm real quick, I've long said that if you're trying to reference any sort of, if you're trying to use any sort of previous Power Rangers season as reference for comedic moments you want to do in the current season, Power Rangers Ninja Storm is far and above the season to use as a template. Because that season had fantastic comedy from both the Rangers and the villains. It also had a pretty decent balance of a good story, great cast actually. Great cast, pretty decent story, and really good action. The music, it was okay. The music when they were transforming into the Zords was really good, but everything else, especially the comedy, was really, really nice. So Ninja Storm is definitely the template to use if you're looking for a comedic, to make a comedic season. And so far, it seems like that Dino Fury has used Ninja Storm, or is at least referencing some of it in its comedic timings. And I love that. So next up in that same scene, Zato is talking to Solon, and Solon tells Zato that they've reinforced the defenses so that nobody can get into the base without them knowing, or they're the only ones who can get into the base, which was nice because that does, at the end of the episode, we see that Void Knight knows where they are and he can easily get back into the base, so that is obviously going to be a problem. So for them to reinforce the defenses is a good look. And then Solon tells Zato that that she's put the T-Rex Champion Zord on standby just in case any of the Sporix do happen to hatch and grow giant. Of course, Amelia is excited for the fact that, we're talking about Zords now. But the funny part comes here because she asked them, how the Zords are named and who came up with that naming scheme. And Zato just kind of smiling, he doesn't answer. He just kind of gives off like he kind of gives off a half smile there. And Solon's like, anyway, back to what we were saying, and I love that. I absolutely love that. I love Amelia's enthusiasm for naming the Zord. I love Solon's reaction to that. It was hilarious, and I've laughed every time I've seen that scene. So that was good. One thing I do want to know, though, Amelia obviously has enthusiasm for the Zords, as does Ollie, because in the first episode, Ollie, was excited because he's seen Zords on TV. And so Amelia's question about if the Rangers, who names the Zords, does make you wonder if by any chance the Rangers are going to get to name their Zords, or I guess get to rename their Zords if their predecessors already had names for them. I don't expect it, but it'll be really, really nice to have a scene like that in the show. But yeah, comedic moments, that was pretty much it for comedy in this, no, there were some more moments. What was it? Back at the, not Juice Bar, what is it? So back at Buzz Blast, when Amelia and Zeta go back to Buzz Blast, Jane introduces J-Borg, which is her robotic cyborg sidekick. that she wants to train so that it'll take over for her. I guess maybe when she retires, when she needs a day off, or something like that. And we get a nice little nod to Overdrive, or Operation Overdrive, because emblazoned on the package that Jane comes in is Hartford Robotics. I believe it said Hartford Robotics. And so that's obviously implied to be a company that Andrew Hartford, who was the mentor and Red Ranger's father in Power Rangers Operation Overdrive, it's obviously implied to be one of his own companies, which, that's nice. That's a bit of, that's nice referencing that I would like to see more of in the future. You know, acknowledge the past, but don't belabor the point, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it was nice and I enjoyed that. And J-Borg herself, J-Borg's not bad. I enjoy her voice. I enjoy the mannerisms of the actress, and I also enjoyed her, not necessarily her comedic timing, but like the synthesizer that they had on her voice, as well as just her voice in general. It was nice. But yeah, I don't mind J-Borg so far. Now, is she going to hold up as the season goes on? I don't know. I'm not counting my eggs before they hatch, but we'll see. One more comedic moment I want to point out is once the first Sporix hatches, which that first Sporix is Mucus, I guess more of a joke monster, but the way they handled that joke was really, really nice. So what I mean is that there were a few things that Mucus did in the episode that were good. First off, when the Rangers morph, and the morphing theme was phenomenal. Again, the music in this season, like I said before, is really, really good. And the morphing theme is really, really good as well. If having a shorter opening theme song means that they spend more time working on good insert tracks or good background music in the actual episodes or in the actual show, then I'm okay. If we have to sacrifice the theme song to get really good tracks in the main show, I'm okay with that. I just want to see those tracks get released on iTunes or some other form, because, you know, I want to bump that music, you know, whenever I'm, you know, feeling down, or, you know, just whenever, because that stuff was really good. But I digress. So once the Rangers morph, Mucus charges at them, and Amelia and Ollie kind of cower behind Zato, which was a really, really nice touch, because it shows two things. It shows, one, even though Mucus is obviously supposed to be a comedic character, Ollie and Amelia both recognize that, yes, this is a comedic character, and, you know, Mucus seems like a joke, but they need to take this threat seriously, because at the end of the day, Mucus is still a Sporix, and Mucus is implied to have the power, or Mucus is implied to be a strong being. And I enjoyed that. Very subtle. You wouldn't really, maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but it was nice. And then Zato strikes down Mucus with one hit, and he turns around and he's like, you know what? I wasn't expecting it to be that easy. And I love that. I absolutely love that. Again, my man's timing, Russell Curry is doing a very good job playing Zato, at least in his human form. Right now, the ADR, Russell Curry's ADR on Zato, I don't know, it's a little bit dry and a little bit unenthusiastic. So I'm interested in seeing how he performs as the series goes on and gets more comfortable in the role. Because I know ADR can't be an easy thing to do. Even recording my own videos and doing voiceovers, it's not easy. It's, you know, showing emotion or showing lack thereof without coming off as uninterested, that's hard. So again, props on all the actors and props on everyone doing their thing. But yeah, I definitely want to see how he progresses as the show goes on. But Mucus, not Zato, Void Knight does bring back the minion we saw at the end of the first episode, and that minion comes along to help not necessarily help Mucus, but destroy the Rangers. So the Rangers face off against that minion, and Mucus, I guess, has a power where she can just revive herself, right? And Mucus calls this minion Horsey, which I found that funny. The fact that Mucus does not take him seriously either, and that really bothers him. Which, again, another good comedic moment, but it's a moment that they also reference later on in the episode. It's not just a one-time thing, because once the minion comes back, or once the minion goes and grows into his giant form, he says, what is it? No one's ever going to call me Horsey again. So yes, it was funny, but it also bothered him to a degree. And it's weird, but I like that. You don't really see these monsters of the week really having anything really resembling deep feelings, so that was a nice little touch there. And so against the wishes of, well, doubling back a little bit, against the wishes of Zato, Solon, and Amelia, Ollie what is it? Ollie does take Void Knight's scanner and brings it to his mom so that she can use it on the drone and see if she can, try to figure out if there's a way to integrate the two technologies. And I like how seriously Ollie's mom takes this whole Sporix threat, because she could have easily brushed it off like Warden Buzzkill here, and like anyone else in their right mind would. But she knows her son. She knows that he wouldn't tell a lie, or I guess we're presuming he wouldn't tell a lie, right? She knows who her son is. She knows his integrity, so she knows that, okay, if he tells me that something's going on, I need to take that seriously. So I like that. And I like the fact that she was roped into this to kind of help out. She is also very, very resourceful. Her using the drone to kind of help the Rangers was really nice. Yes, it sacrificed both the drone and Void Knight's scanner. It was a good effort by the mom to help the Rangers in their time of need, and it was super resourceful because even though yes, the Rangers don't have the scanner anymore, neither does Void Knight, so that impedes on his ability to look for future Sporix. So that was nice. Now we need to figure out how Void Knight can actually search for Sporix without alerting the Rangers. So they're on an equal playing field now in terms of the Void Knight and the Rangers trying to search for the Sporix. So the last two things I want to talk about are, one, the Zord Battle. The Zord Battle was really, really good. I forgot how much I love the Ryu Soldier Zord battles because that Zord is very nimble. It is very, very nimble, and they absolutely love doing the acrobatics and things like that. Normally, I like my Zords to be more robotic. I kind of miss the old days of, like, for instance, the Astro Megazord in space. It had very stiff movements, and I like the sound effects that accompanied those movements. But I also love the way that Ryu Soldier mechs move, so I can't complain there. But I love the way the battle was pretty fast. It was a very straight to the point mech battle, which I don't have a problem with at all. When Zato actually teleported into the T-Rex Champion Zord, he said, it's good to see you again, old friend, or something along those lines, which is a nice little touch, because up until this point, the only other person who was there with Zato 65 million years ago, or who would know Zato on any sort of personal level, was Solon. So for Zato to actually be comfortable in a familiar environment, that's really good. So I love the fact that they added that line in there. But yeah, after the Zord battle, we go back to the base. Ollie apologizes for going behind the Rangers' back, yada yada yada. And then, oh wait, one more thing. So when the Rangers, or when Zato more specifically, defeats, I don't remember his name. Let's just call him Horsey. When he defeats Horsey, the monster turns back into a Sporix, and so Zato jumps out of the Zord, and they make it a point to tell us that the Sporix, when they get destroyed, they turn back into their little jelly form that we saw in the first episode and at the start of this episode. When they do that, they're more powerful than they were when they were originally in their jelly form, and I presume when they were in their monster form. Why that is, I don't know, but it definitely does amp up the stakes. It adds an extra element to these battles. Like, you can't just willy-nilly destroy the monsters without having an additional plan to get the Sporix, because, as we saw, Void Knight might be nearby, waiting to seize the moment and steal the Sporix, which he did in this moment. So Void Knight takes the Sporix and he goes to Area 62 with Mucus. He puts the Sporix into some device, some energy thing, and he makes it a point to say that he's going to need more Sporix to power up the device for his master plan, whatever that plan may be. So we'll see what that plan turns out to be in a later episode or as the season goes on. But yeah, that's pretty much the episode. A little bit of a shorter video, not as much shorter as I wanted it to be, but still, it was a good episode. I loved it. That's 2 episodes down of Dino Fury, and we're off to a good start. This episode was a lot better than Beast Morpher's second episode, and I'm interested to see if they can keep up this streak. So far they're 2 for 2. Will they hit the sophomore slump that Ranger seasons tend to hit, where once you get introduced to everything, they kind of go into like a little status quo until the story picks up? We'll see. I mean, we still have 2 more Rangers to introduce before they have, I guess, the opportunity to hit that slump. So I'll reserve my judgment until the other 2 Rangers are introduced to the show. Yep. So for now, let's go ahead and get on to our questions of the week. So for our questions of the week, number 1, we have, where are the other Ranger keys? Or where are the other Dino Fury keys? At the beginning of the episode, when Amelia asks if they can recruit other Rangers, Zato tells us that the other Dino Fury keys were lost with the other Rangers. So, makes me ask, where? Where are those Dino Fury keys, and why aren't they by the base? You know, again, it goes back to my question from the first episode. What happened to Zato's Rangers? They were defeated, the keys were lost. I want to see that battle. I want to see exactly what happened, and hopefully we do get a moment to kind of explore that backstory a little bit more in a future episode. Question number 2, what is Void Knight's plan? So Void Knight is obviously working towards some sort of master plan that involves the Sporix energy. I want to know what that is. You know, I'm very interested in this. I want to see, you know, what he's got cooking up. And then question number 3, and the final question for today, is what is Area 62? Void Knight, I'm assuming that Void Knight's been using Area 62 as a base for a while now because he knew its location and he has that microwave energy thing just sitting there, so I'm assuming he knows what it's for. So why does he know all this? You know, why is Area 62 there? Void Knight says that it was abandoned by the humans a while ago. Why? What was it there for? What were the humans using Area 62 for? I want to know. I would love to know that, but we'll see if we get answers in a future episode. And to address a question I had in the first episode, or in our episode 1 review about, you know, who Void Knight is, in that episode I said, or in that review I said that, you know, he obviously has access to the same power set, and this little bit might be a little bit, reaching a little bit, but it seems like it goes beyond that, in that he also has access to the same teleportation mechanics as the Rangers. So when they're in Ranger mode, in order to teleport, they cross their hand and then they touch their morpher and then it teleports them, which the teleportation effects are great. I absolutely love them. And Void Knight more or less does the same thing to teleport, except instead of touching his wrist, because he doesn't have a morpher, just armor there, he uses his sword and he touches his wrist to his sword and then he teleports himself, his minions, or whatever's in the vicinity, or whatever he needs to teleport in that situation. So that lends credence to my theory that Void Knight and the Rangers are related in some sort of way, or maybe he got access to the morphing grid somehow, and we just need to figure that out, or they'll tell us in a future episode. So that's all I have to say about Power Rangers Dino Fury, Episode 2, Sporix Unleashed. Let me know what y'all think about in the comment section below, or to the left, or wherever it is when you watch this video. Until next time, be safe, stay healthy, and I hope y'all have a good day. Bye.